What's up? What's up, everybody? Sorry, we just a few minutes late, man. A little few technical difficulties, but you know what y'all here for, man. We're ready to break down these games today. I'm Jay Money. That's my guy Junior Brown. That's my guy Jordan. That's my guy Jordan Sharp as well, man. So let's get to it. Y'all know what's up. Go to SBR Picks /NBA. Check out all the picks, articles that we have over there. Check out compare odds as well, man. I'm looking at it right now. Stuff bouncing around all over the place. What's up, Junior? Everything good with you, brother? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. We hit that Memphis play on Saturday. It was a little bit closer than I would have liked. Just watching that game, I felt like John Morant was not really getting too many calls, but that's not surprising considering he's a rookie,
Mhm.
first NBA playoff experience. But overall, Memphis, I think Memphis can hold their heads high. If they were a fully healthy squad, they'd probably be in the playoffs right now. But instead of going and getting their asses kicked by the Lakers in the first round, they're going to have a summer to regroup, make some roster moves, make some draft picks, and just improve. Man, it's a team on the rise, and I think that we made the right pick in backing them because Portland, regardless of how good they've looked offensively, their defense is absolute garbage.
Exactly. What's up with you, Jordan? Everything good with you? How was your weekend, bro?
Yeah, good. I tailed you guys after watching the show on the Grizzlies, and so thank you for that. I know we were leaning that way as soon as that line came out, and it did dip down a little bit from after where it opened on Friday. But yeah, I mean, a great game from the Grizzlies, like Junior said, nothing to be ashamed of at all. Ja had a great game. The rest of the Grizzlies played really well. You got to think if Jaren Jackson was in the lineup, they probably would have won that game with all things considered. I mean, one of the things I did notice, though, I mean, from Portland, what we talked about on Friday is, they have to have everybody contribute to get a win, and everybody pretty much came up huge. Nurk had a Barbara Walters game. Melo hit the game winning, or the game clinching shot, I should say. McCollum hit all those big shots down the stretch. They definitely earned that win. Memphis got beat by a superior team, so they got nothing to be ashamed of. I think Portland did what we expected them to do, but thankfully we kept it within that 6 points and got a little money out of it.
Exact got some chat out of, man. Needed that, man. John Morant hit that last three. We know sitting at 6. I don't think that wouldn't have. I don't think that would have fouled there. I don't know. Maybe see they're a young team. So say if they would have fouled and then like this time would have went off. Like say if it was a long rebound, or something they probably would have fouled. But with him making it and then them inbound and then obviously they fouled or whatever, and Nurkic make one of the shots. But at the first score, at the end of the first score, I'm like, man, when it got to about 30-16, I was like, bro, come on, man. Well, don't tell me it's going to be like this. And then Memphis call back in there in the second quarter. You know what I'm saying? They take a 1-point lead. So I'm like, oh, man, yeah, we right back in it. So I was excited. I thought it was going to be real quick over. I said, don't get done like that. But that's exactly what I told y'all while we was taking the Grizzlies because they never going to give up, man. Even though they took the L, they still fought to the end, man. They had a huge second quarter come back, huge third quarter to come back and take the lead. And that was really what we needed for them to come out at halftime and, you know what I'm saying, show some fight. Now, obviously in the fourth quarter, the Blazers end up taking over. Like you say, Melo hitting the late three there. Dame still gonna do what he do, get to the foul, like get them, you know what I'm saying, get the pump fake threes to get the 3 free throws. He gonna do what he do, man. But we get the cover with the Grizzlies, 6.5, man, and the Blazers end up getting the win, 126-122. It's pretty crazy because I know the first half looked like it was going under a clear under game. Then they had that 73-point third quarter. It was pretty crazy. What you think about that? That how the pace changed in that one, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean it's one thing I think for you to really judge what the Grizzlies did. I think on the other hand, I do think Portland kind of at halftime I think probably saw the weaknesses that they needed to exploit. I think you saw that down the stretch with McCollum going against John Morant, excuse me, and I think they kind of figured that we can play up in pace with this game and not really our defense being bad and us playing up in pace is probably the only way we're going to win here because of our defense. I don't think that was very, very much surprising to me, but I do think the Grizzlies, it's tough to say they lost the game, but I mean, it's also you also did see some glaring weaknesses from them, especially on the inside that really affected them, I think, throughout that game.
Got you, got you. What you think about that one, Junior? I know that the money was pouring in on the under in that game. Opened at 233, got bid all the way down to I think like 229 and a half, and it ended up flying over. I know I wasn't betting the under in the Blazers game, and we saw it there in the third quarter. Gave up 42 points to the Grizzlies there. What you think about that one? I like what you said there when you said that Jammin just didn't seem right for a little while. I know his plus minus was like negative 16 there throughout like the first quarter. It's looking like they were better off with Milton out there on the floor. What you think about that, Junior?
Hey, sorry, Jay, your voice was cutting out. I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry. Can you repeat it?
No, I was just saying, how did you think that John Morant handled his first game? Pretty much what I was saying. I know that he struggled in the first quarter. How did you think about the pace change from it looking like a clear under game to an over game in this second half?
I just think that that's what the Blazers needed to do to win. I think that John Morant's one weakness in his game is his jumper. I know that it's been going in, but if you just watch the way that he plays, the fact that he shoots the ball from basically like his, right around his chin area, that kind of limits him. But what I did like about what I saw from him in that game, more than anything else, was he was not going out with bullets left in the chamber. He shot every, he emptied his clip. He took 28 shots. I don't know if that's the most shots he's taken all season, but it has to be because he's not a high volume shooter. He's a facilitator, and he actually has a really high basketball IQ for a guy as young as he is. So I think the sky's the limit. I think by season 2-3, he's an all-star unless he gets hurt. But yeah, Memphis definitely lucked out getting that second pick over New York, who mathematically had higher odds to have a top 2 pick.
Right, yeah, the Grizzlies definitely gonna be something to look for, man. Here next season, definitely, man. Let's go ahead and get to today's slate. We got the Jazz first game up, man. Come 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. We got the Jazz versus the Nuggets here. Nuggets open up at -3 favors, up to 4.5 now. 5 at some shops here. No more 5s out there. It was a 5 at Bovada, but no more 5s out there. 4.5. It's a 4 actually at Bookmaker if you like the Nuggets there. So we know that Mike Conley just left the bubble there on yesterday morning for the birth of his son. His son just born, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, Jazz, they down Bogdanovich and Conley now. What you think about this game, Jordan?
It's tough for me to trust Utah, even though I know there's going to be a lot of people that are excited about it, and I don't blame them. I still think the line did overreact a little bit to the Conley news once we saw him leave the bubble. I mean, we saw them lose him for a huge stretch earlier in the season, and they played some of their best offensive basketball of the season. That being said, I don't think there's a huge correlation to that. I think Mike Conley is very much a net positive for this team, as well as Bogdanovich, who they had in that stretch and do not have currently, as you mentioned. So I'd be weary of that. I do think. I think I just saw that Michael Porter Jr. is going to stay in the starting lineup for Denver. I think that's a good move for them. They're going to have trouble. I think Royce or whoever they have guarding him is going to have trouble. Mm-hmm. And if Porter's getting in the paint and dishing, and then you have guys like Jokic and everybody else and Murray making shots, it's going to be very hard.
Junior, you're still there?
I'm here.
What you think? What you think about this one? We might have to call. We might have to call Jordan back. Might have to call him back, my guy.
Oh, you can't hear him? I can hear him though.
Let me see.
I guess we just lost him.
Jordan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You got me. Sorry about that.
No, you good. You good. It might be mine. I could hear Junior, but I couldn't hear you. You froze on mine.
Yeah, my bad. I was just saying that if everybody for the Nuggets is hitting shots, it's gonna be very hard for the Jazz to stop them. That was the last thing I was gonna say.
Got you. My bad. I don't know what's going on, bro. It seemed like it was your Junior said he can still hear you though, man. I don't know what the hell going on with this shit, man. But like you said, I think that they didn't move it enough, to be honest with you. We know that Conley came back. Conley been balling out somewhat since the bubble, since this team came back in the bubble. They needed him ever since Bogdanovich is out. So now both of them out. I think that's too much, man. The Nuggets are already pretty much on them this year, 3-0 straight up and against the spread. What you think about this one, Junior?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week. I said that I would be fading the Jazz pretty heavy. I haven't changed my mind about fading the Jazz. I'm just not going to go as heavy as I said before the playoffs started. I think I just kind of need to see how this all plays out. I am obviously going to put a sprinkle on it. I got Denver -4.5. I think the Mike Conley news is a big deal. Touching on something Jordan said, yeah, they did play a little bit better with him out of the lineup in the regular season when he missed some time, but they had Bogdanovich then. Without both him and Bogdanovich in the lineup, you're asking Donovan Mitchell to do a lot. And speaking of Donovan Mitchell, just some stats. Obviously we have to dig a little bit deeper in the playoffs. In head-to-head matchups, Torrey Craig is the person with the second most minutes defending Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell against Torrey Craig is like 5 for 20 from the field, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. So I'm not trying to say he can stop Donovan Mitchell, but if you're the guy that's played the second most minutes against him and you've held him down, that does mean something, on top of the fact that the Denver Nuggets have a really deep roster and multiple guys that they can throw at Mitchell. If Mitchell has a bad game, Utah's done. Whereas on the Denver side, they got Porter, they got Jokic, they got Murray, they got a bunch of guys that can step in and get points. I think the key for Denver, what has me a little bit, is in the bubble, they're just not playing any defense on the three-point line. They're giving up almost 40% from three, which is the second lowest number in the bubble, whereas the Jazz are the number one three-point shooting team percentage-wise in the NBA. So that could maybe be something, but I just think that there's way too much for Conley and Bogdanovich in the lineup because like Jay Money said, if you just look at their stats, Conley's stats and Donovan Mitchell's stats in the bubble are pretty much identical. So Conley hasn't been playing well overall, but in the bubble, he's starting to show life, which should unlock Mitchell. But now you're putting all the pressure on Mitchell to do everything. I just think it's too much to ask for Mitchell to carry this team over a balanced Denver team.
Exactly, and all the pressure is on Mitchell and is on Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert now. So I mean, if one of those two have a bad game, Jokic has averaged them their 30 points and 9 rebounds against his team in 3 games this season. So Jokic's been balling against them. Now you add Michael Porter Jr. out there. I mean, obviously Barton and Harris are still hurt, but I mean this team got guys. Man, the bench is a lot better. I'm sorry that Conley. So look, it was already liking this. And then Conley out, I'm sorry, man. It's tough for the boys. I think the Nuggets will come out there and smack them. Obviously, the defense has to get a lot better. I'm sure they've seen the film. Hopefully, I mean, we know that they weren't all the way trying that hard. I mean, they had the bench guys playing a lot too. So some of the numbers are just a tad bit skewed. But still, man, it's time to lock up now. It's playoff time. Oh, we know who's playing, the regular rotations, everything, man. It's time to stop playing. It's time to lock up with defense, man. Mike Malone know this. So it starts today. I do give the edge to Jazz defensively, but they're missing a bunch of offense, man. With already Bogdanovich, now Conley as well, which they were starting to get used to playing without Bogdanovich. But I think it's gonna hurt today, man. I think it is, man. I like the Nuggets in this spot, man. Like them here. Let's get to the next game here, guys. We got the Nets versus the Raptors here. My guy Junior Raptors is laying 9.5. Is back up to 10 now. Total open up. I know it's at 224 at first. It was down to 222 yesterday. Now touching 221.5. Junior, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this is where most of my money's at right now. I got Raptors minus 5.5 in the first half for a couple of different reasons. I'll say one thing that makes me a little bit worried about this pick is how hot Brooklyn starts off all of their games. They're averaging like 30-something points a game in the first quarter. So that has me a little bit leery. But if you look at the Raptors in the bubble, the Raptors have been the second best defensive team in the league for the whole season. They've been the best defensive team in the bubble. And that's actually more so true in the first half than the second half. Their first quarter and second quarter defense has been dominant. And I just think that for the Raptors, they've seen enough from Brooklyn. Brooklyn went 5-3 in the bubble. They're shooting like 43s a game. If you give these guys life, they just got to start getting streaky from three and they can hang around. I think the Raptors are going to come out with a mentality of let's put our foots on these guys' necks. Let's send them home now. Like, don't give them any hope that they can win this series. And I think if Brooklyn comes out hot in the first quarter like they've done in the entire bubble, I think this game is going to be a lot closer than the Raptors will be comfortable with. So I give the Raptors – I'm taking the Raptors in the first half, just taking it from that angle that they're going to come out with a higher level of intensity. They're going to look to exploit some of these matchups because I've heard people say, oh, the Raptors might have some trouble with the size of Garrett Temple and Karis LeVert. Listen, I got mad respect for Karis LeVert. He's been balling out. Yeah. But how are they going to guard Van Vliet and Lowry? Lowry and Van Vliet are worried about Temple and LeVert now? Nah, son. I give the Raptors the edge there, and I also give the Raptors the edge on the inside. Other than Jared Allen, the Nets don't have a rotation player that's over like 6'8". So I don't understand how they're going to, Caruth is basically their backup center. I give the edge to Serge Ibaka or Marc Gasol against Caruth. And if they can get Pascal Siakam going, look at how the Raptors have played in the bubble. They're 7-1 in the bubble, even though Pascal Siakam has basically been pretty bad. His shooting percentage is down, his points are down, everything is down for him. And the Raptors haven't missed a beat. They get the real Pascal Siakam today, I think they're going to whoop these boys' asses. But I'm staying away from the -10 for the simple fact that all these threes that Brooklyn's been putting up in the bubble, I could see them backdoor covering the spread, late in the fourth quarter, something like that.
Jordan, what do you think? And this isn't the same team, and I don't like sometimes you have to ignore teams. What do you think about the Raptors game one struggles as far as against the spread? Well, straight up as well, but as far as against the spread here in recent years, we know this is a much different Raptors team though. But what do you think about that? What you think about this game here? Nets +10 over the Raps.
We may need to reset that counter too, because now this is the first time they've played a game one as the defending NBA champions. So there's a lot of pressure off of their shoulders. But I think that was the main thing. Like the Raptors have just had like year after year. Junior could speak on this for probably hours. Like year after year, they have high hopes, and then they fizzled out in the playoffs, and they finally got it done last year. And now I think that, like, you're right, with this completely different roster, you got a different leader now in Pascal Siakam. You have a lot less expectations coming on you. You're basically playing with house money. I'm not buying into that narrative just yet this year. I was interested with some of the stuff that Junior was saying, because the fact that he's got the 5.5 on Raptors first half. This is one of my first half. It's one of my two first half plays today. This is the only one I haven't locked in yet though. And it's the over in the first half of this one at 111. It opened at 110.5. It's already up to 111.5. I wouldn't be surprised we hit 112, simply for the fact that I think Junior's correct. I don't think the Raptors take the Nets lightly here, especially on defense, and their defense has been extremely good. But one thing they have been doing a lot in this bubble in the first half is playing up in pace in the first half. They're actually playing at a faster pace than the Nets. And I think the Nets are going to come out here with the only one thing in mind is we have to get stops if we can and run and get this team tired and keep hitting those transition threes. If they're doing that, I think the Raptors, if those game one struggles do come out, I think this is kind of a hedge against that a little bit. If those game one struggles do come out, it might be on defense early on. Again, the Nets kind of playing also with a little bit of house money themselves. I think we see a lot of shots. The Nets actually have, I think, one of the best assist to turnover ratios in the bubble right now. I think they've been passing the ball extremely well to try to get open shots. I think the Raptors are going to have an easy time scoring, obviously, against this Nets defense for some of the reasons Junior mentioned. But I also think the Nets, at least early, as we've seen, their offensive rating is very good in the first quarter. They have like a 116 offensive rating in the first half in the bubble. They're going to put up some points here, regardless of how good the Raptors defense plays if those threes are falling. So I think at least they will in the first half. Raptors tighten down in the second half defensively, but I got the over here, 111 in the first half.
Got you. Yeah, and hey, we got 819 watching, man. We didn't broke the record. I don't even damn what show you had. We didn't broke the record. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Y'all hit the like button if y'all like the content. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, you know what you're here for the picks, man. So my guy Jordan there liking the first half over 111, and my guy Junior is liking the first half Raptors -5.5. And me, I think it's going to be a defensive game. As far as for the Raptors, I think I'm not messing with the spread in this one. I don't like there's too many points, in my opinion. I don't want to bet, even though I wouldn't take.
We lose Jay.
Sounds like it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think what Jay was trying to say is that too many points in this game, which I agree with, because Jay, you back? Sorry, I was just trying to fill the gap while you were gone. You there?
Yeah, I'm back, bro. I'm back. Appreciate you, my guy. I like the under in this game, man. I like the under. I got it at 222, man. I think the Raptors is going. I don't see the Nets getting past 105 points in this one, man. I just think the Raptors gonna come out there, smack them up, show them who's boss the first game. And I think this is gonna be a real quick series, in my opinion. But I'm not messing with the -10, even though I wouldn't bet the Nets here. That's all I was gonna say here, Junior.
Say that again?
I think we lost him again. He just popped off again.
I think he was going to ask me my opinion. I mean, honestly, I agree that it's too many points. Like I was saying earlier, you're jacking up 43s a game. you just got to get hot even for a quarter, and you could bust that spread. So I just think the Raptors will be up double digits, and then there's always a possibility because I don't think the Nets are ever going to stop playing hard. So and whereas the Raptors, they're just trying to get to the second round. They don't care about winning by 10 or winning by 1. They just want to win. So just for that reason alone, I think 10 is a little bit disrespectful to what we've seen from the Nets in this bubble. I disrespected them before the bubble, saying they're going to have the worst record in it. I can't pretend like I haven't seen what I've seen and not give them the benefit of the doubt that they can cover a 10-point spread. They didn't have to play hard against Portland, and they almost sent Portland home. So I'm trying to show them a little bit of respect with that 10-point spread.
Got you, man. I'm here, man. I ain't went nowhere. I promise y'all. We live show, man. It's a little different today, man. Honestly, I like when they call me better, man. A little bit, just a tad bit better, man. But we still got 8:37. Watch my guy say, "Where the sunglasses?" He said, "Alvin say, Jay, you need help, my bro. What I need help with, man?" He say, "LOL, Junior, it's time to shine. Junior, you gotta take it over, my guy. Lucky D Monkey. I ain't went nowhere, man. I ain't went nowhere. I'm still here." Let's get to the next game, though. We got the 76ers versus the Celtics here. Line opened up at Celtics 5.5, went to 6, now up to 6.5 for the Celtics. A lot of people liking them. We know the 76ers have a big size advantage over the Celtics, but the Celtics got them wings, man. Them boys like wing stop over there. We got wings for days, and they green. Hey, let's put a little lemon pepper on there. Total open up. Total sitting at 218, man. What you think about this one, Jordan?
Yeah, man, they just closed down the Wingstop next to my house too. I'm shook over that still, man. I'm so disappointed that now it's only beat ups or nothing for me. Anyway, if I don't know, play on this game. If I did, I would probably follow that steam note with the Celtics. I really can't. I do see the advantage. I mean, Embiid is going to have to literally put up 40 points for them to win this game. I think that's probably the over under for like the parlay of Joel Embiid's points and the Sixers win is probably 39.5 because they're going to need a lot of that tonight from him. But the Celtics, like you said, I mean, the playoffs, it becomes a guard game, and it becomes a game where your skill players really take over. And Joel Embiid is very skilled, but you know he is limited somewhat from being 7 feet tall and not being able to bring the ball up the floor. I mean, like the pace is going to be dictated by the Celtics here. They're going to have an extreme a coaching advantage and an extreme experience advantage with Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And even Marcus Smart, throwing him in there. I mean, it's just without Simmons and with their depleted roster a little bit here without him and how they have to cope without him, I just can't see them winning this game. I do think they could compete in this series without him, but it's going to be very, very tough, I think, to win this game with the experience of the Celtics. And I think they come out kind of no bones about this game and kick them in the teeth early and often here because of their weakened stature here.
Gotcha. I don't like it. The 76ers have beat them 3 times already this season. They 3-1 versus the Celtics. And they do have the size advantage, but we know that the Celtics were one of them teams that really thrived on the home court advantage. They did beat them one time in Boston this year. What do you think about this game, Junior?
It would be Celtics or nothing for me, but it's too many points, so I'm off this game. I think that this is one of the biggest mismatches in the NBA in terms of coach versus coach. Brad Stevens versus Brett Brown. It's a joke. Brad Stevens is going to out coach. He's going to look. Joel Embiid in December went off for like 38, 15, and 6. Next game, Brad Stevens made a couple of moves, made a couple switches. Joel Embiid goes 1 for 11. I just think that Brad Stevens has a lot of different things that he could throw at you, whereas Brett Brown still doesn't even know what type of team, what type of scheme, who's his best lineup. It's a lot of confusion going on in Philly, and I think that one of the most underrated things about this this matchup is not just the loss of Ben Simmons because he's their initiator and their playmaker, but who's guarding Jason Tatum? Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum are basically the same size, same type of athleticism. And Ben Simmons is one of the better defenders in the NBA. I won't be surprised if he makes one of the all-defensive teams. Now you got who's guarding Tatum? Thibault? He's too short. Thibault's a sick defender, though.
Yeah, he got some clamps.
He got some clamps, but he's too little. Jason Tatum's shooting over him every time. Josh Richardson, too little. Al Horford, too slow. Tobias Harris, he don't even really play defense. So they have a real problem. And like you said, it's wings all day, lemon pepper, garlic, Parmesan. Whatever you want, these boys got that. They got all kinds of wings. So I just think the 76ers are going to have a really hard time defending Boston's wings. And the reality is, guys, we already know this. Is Joel Embiid going to play hard? Maybe.
Man, this guy
maybe
here.
he will, maybe he won't. We don't really know. I can't back a team whose best player doesn't really always play hard with a shit coach. So
will he play the whole game and get 0 points again? Can't believe this guy crying and saying, "Come on, man, get out of here, bro!" I can't believe this guy played a whole game when I bet on him. It did a whole game and had 0 points. Bruh, come on, and you want to talk all that stuff? Nah, bro, you lost sorry speaking. They have a huge advantage. I'm not gonna stun with you. I mean, with Al Horford and Embiid, that's why they've went 3-1 against them this year. But they needed Simmons to do that as well. This is, I believe, they're probably gonna be their first time facing without Simmons. Shake Milton is probably not gonna be able to get it done as versus Kemba Walker. He can't keep up. Like you say, Josh Richardson, you can't keep up with Jaylen Brown. You can't do it. Tobias Harris, Tatum. Are you freaking kidding me? I know they said they was probably going to try to start Thibault, but it doesn't matter, man. When it gets to the bench, when you got Marcus Smart coming off the bench, it's absolutely unfair. It is, and it's so. I mean, I don't want to lay the 6.5. This is one of the games that I want to see how the matchup goes first, because I really do think in the first game, the 76ers, this one could be possibly a tight one, and then like you say, Brad Stevens come up with a hell of a plan. Next time they playing Embiid totally different, or maybe even start Robert Williams third or something against them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Tice can't get it done versus them. It's pretty crazy. Al Horford gonna know how to play the Celtics well. He gonna give the 76ers a few little tips. This is one that I want to watch. It's crazy to say, but especially when getting up to 6.5. I would actually lean towards the 76ers just in this first game, even though I know the Celtics are light years better. Look at this, guys. The Celtics, it seemed like they have an advantage over the Raptors for some. You know what I'm saying? They seem like they have, but it seemed like the 76ers kind of have that edge over the Celtics. What you think about that, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean they do, but now they're without a player that was key to that, throughout the regular season. I don't think you can discount the fact that Ben Simmons is kind of the engine that made this team go, and now without their engine, they just sputter. They just sputter out a little bit offensively, and against a very skilled defensive team. Granted, they have some matchup issues with Embiid, but outside of that, Embiid can go for 40 and they still lose this game because the Celtics could very easily shut down everybody else. So, I don't disagree with you at all that Philly could surprise some people here. I think they could keep this game close, but like I said, they're going to need Richardson or somebody else to be that second option and go have a really big game outside of Embiid, and because it can't just be JoJo. And so and Toby Harris, like all three of those guys really have to have huge games for them to cover and or win this game. So it's like, am I betting on that? It's tough for me to do that with the defensive prowess that's the Celtics have individually and the options they have in that front.
Exactly. Like I say, man, I think the Celtics will win this game. It's just I really do think the 6.5. It could be just a little bit closer. I mean, especially with it going up. It's like I say, I'm staying off. I want to see. I'm definitely watching this game close. Might make a second half bet. I mean, y'all know me, man. I don't force my bets, man. I made a bet on the early game on the Nuggets in the first half, man. So you know what I'm saying. Made a bet on the early game. That's what I'm liking. Without Conley, like a full game too, man. So I don't force them. It's a game there where I really do think that it's a real 50-50, especially at this spread. Let's get to the next one, man. We got one more game. My Mavs versus the Clippers, man. The Clippers, they didn't beat us, so they didn't beat up on us this year, man. Them boys like Kawhi and PG be out for Luka, man. And when that happens, we don't really look so well, Junior. Line open up at Clippers -5. You know, people hopped all over that. It was up to 6, now touching 6.5 here. Total open up at 227.5 up to 229. You got any look on this one, Junior?
No, this is a stay away and watch. Going to the homie's house, watching it with a bunch of friends, just because it's probably going to be the best game that's on. In terms of the spread, I'd love to say that I'm riding with the Clippers, but the reality is when you got two guys on your team that's going to give you 65 points a game walking in with between Kristaps and Luka, I'm not really sure that I want to fade those guys. I just kind of want to see how it works. But you did just mention one thing. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are a nightmare matchup for Luka. They take it personally that, he gets I'm sure that they take it personally that he gets MVP mention. Not to say that he doesn't deserve it, but if you're a great player and someone else is talking about another great player, you take that as a personal challenge. That's just the way that basketball works. Both of those guys are Luka's size. They're both more athletic, quicker. It's just not a good look for Luka. He's going to get his. You can't shut him down. He's going to get his 25, but he's going to have to work goddamn hard to get that 25. And I don't like the way that sounds because the rest of the Mavs, when they want to play, the Mavs, as they've been the whole season, are the number one offense in the league. But if them boys don't show up, their defense is not solid enough for me to say that they can hang with the Clippers.
Exactly.
So I just kind of want to see, is Rick Carlisle going to throw out some wrinkles today to free up Luka? Maybe take him off the ball a little bit, put him in the high post, do something, just switch it up a little bit, do something. So I'm just going to be watching this game to gather information.
Yeah, and you had them Jekyll and Hyde teams, man. And I mean, the Mavs, they were one of them. You never really know when they're going to show up. They might be playing a bad team, come out there and BS around. Then they'll be playing a good team and come out there and beat them. I've seen it plenty of times. And the Clippers, we are 0-3 ACS against them this year. They've somewhat owned us this year. I mean, every single time they play us, it's like, okay, we out for Luka. So we know. And the Clippers are most likely to get Montrezl Harrell back today as well. It's still a official question, but I'm pretty sure that he hadn't played, though. So, I mean, he probably just been practicing. He probably still be pretty rusty though. Probably wouldn't play. He probably, you know what I'm saying, limited minutes. What you think about this game, Jordan? Any look on the total as well?
Yeah, I do. I think first off, props to the NBA. I think they did a great job scheduling this first day of the playoffs. You kind of get a nice little appetizer feel with the first two games, and then a nice little entree in Philly and Boston. This is a great nightcap for this schedule. I think this is probably my favorite game on the slate. And yeah, I have the first half over in this one as well. I'm a little concerned. It's ticking down a little bit from where I got it. I got it at 116.5. Starting to see 116s across the board, but I think that's just reaction from full game betting. There's been a lot of under money coming in on this game. The reason I do like the first half over here is for several reasons. I do think, like Jay just mentioned, it does look like Harrell's going to be back, which really bolsters their bench. But I don't know. He hasn't played in months. He has not played professional basketball games since March. I don't think he's going to just come out there and roll for 30 minutes. So it is helpful. But I think that like integrating some of these guys that could potentially be back, Shamet, who missed some games, I think he'll be back probably. It's the biggest question is Pat Bev for the Clippers right now. And if he sits, obviously that helps the over here because of his defense and what he could bring on some of these guys. But I do think Dallas, the biggest concern for them, like Junior mentioned, is their defense. They've been the worst first half defense in the bubble. They're giving up almost 130 points per 100 possessions in their their 8 seeding games in the first half. And actually, the Clippers have not been great first half defensively. Their first half compared to their second half defense have been night and day. If that trend continues, I really like the first half over here, as long as the Clippers aren't clamping down on Luka and holding him down. I think that if the Clippers are bringing back Harrell and potentially Beverly tonight and those guys, they could lapse a little bit on defense early on, and the over here is, I think, probably the better play.
Gotcha. My guy liking the first half over this, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, my guy Will in chat said, where the Clips at on the map behind you? So this kind of an older map, man. When the Clips weren't that good, man, they put them boys. I'm talking about they put them boys small on there, boy. The Lakers and took off all of Cali, bro. The Lakers and the Warriors and the Kings got a lot more than the Clippers. Them boys are tiny, but them boys, you got to remember, they used to be trash stuff. It's a different day now. They own half Cali now. I mean, now you got to put the Kings real small on there. But yeah, man, that's so Jordan Junior. So no lean on this game. What you think about that on the total with the first half over there? I was thinking that the total was pretty low as well. We know that the Clippers have pretty much a championship defense, but here in the bubble, it seemed like more points have been scored. You could look at it like those games were meaningless, and you could look like, you know, the playoffs are starting now. Teams are gonna start ramping up on defense. That's why you think the total is a little lower here, Junior.
Yeah, I think that that total is a bit too low. If I had to lean, I would take the over. I think that the Clippers defense still doesn't look right for some reason. And am I going to bet that am I going to take the over when they're playing against the number one offense in the NBA? It doesn't really seem like that would be the look to take the under here. So I would definitely lean towards the over. I think, though, that the Clippers defense is going to get a huge boost from Montrezl Harrell. Not to say that Montrezl Harrell is single-handedly a defensive stopper, but he's the engine. He's a guy who he's going to go 110%, and he's going to make sure that the guys around him on the floor are going hard. Just his effort and his energy rubs off on his teammates. It's impossible to deny that if you watch a Clippers game. When he comes in the game, he lifts his teammates with his energy. So I just think that his presence will start to improve that defense, especially when it's bench versus bench, because the Clippers have a decided advantage against every other bench that they play. But in terms of this game right here, it's hard for me to look at any Mavs game and think under.
God, yeah, hell no, I'm not doing it. There's no way. Even if it's not right now, man. There's just no way. Jordan, you want to recap what your plays, my guy, before we get out of here, brother?
Yep, got 2 first half overs today. Brooklyn versus Toronto, got them at 111, and Dallas and the Clippers at over 116.5.
Got you. What you liking today, Junior? What we doing?
I like some spicy nuggets,
Yes,
minus 4.5 over a depleted Utah team. And I like Los Raptors, the dinosaurs, first half minus 5.5 against the no-name G League Brooklyn Nets. Let's get it.
Got you. Yeah, and today is gonna be the fire blaze. Not on the Blazers though, but on the Nuggets, on the Denver Nuggets. Y'all know what I mean? The fire blaze on the Nuggets, the first half and the full game, man. Let's get to some cheddar today. We appreciate we had record-breaking numbers today, man. We appreciate all y'all for watching. Hit the like button if you appreciate the content, man. Y'all come back and holler at us tomorrow every single day. Tell a friend and tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? Share the show. We appreciate all y'all. It's go to SBR Picks /NBA as well. Check out all the articles we got on there. We got more free picks as well on there for more games and other different type of sports as well, man. So we appreciate all y'all for tuning in. We trying to break them bookies, boy. I know they mad at us after Saturday, but hey, we finna go back and try to get some more cash from today, man. Appreciate all y'all for watching and come back and holler at us again tomorrow. Thank you for watching Jammin with J Money.